Hello, my name is Adam Long and I'm a board director with the National LGBT Federation and I'm joined by the Taoiseach Leo Varadkar for our Pride Series interviews where we discuss, I suppose, all the major legislative priorities for the community and Pride Month is an appropriate moment to do that. So Taoiseach, can I welcome you to our series and wish you a happy Pride.
Thank you. You're very welcome to Government Buildings.
Thank you very much.
Happy Pride.
Taoiseach, just because we have a lot to cover, and I know this is something you've spoken about actually as recently as earlier this year, the whole issue of kind of education equality, if you like, and the experiences of young LGBT plus people at school, the importance of having an inclusive curriculum, let's say. I know now, is it at junior cert level? I think that the new curriculum there has been published, so of course age appropriate but inclusive and just updated, because the curriculum was 1998, I think, so it was ripe for an update.
I've very simple view on this. Obviously anything should be age appropriate, and it will be, but I think it's much better that young people are thought about the world around them, and the best way to learn about the world around you is from a loving parent or a professional teacher, and that's how we design these curriculums. And I know I'll often run into people who make arguments that that you're taking away a child's innocence, or that they shouldn't learn about things, but sooner or later they will. And just the nature of reality, they'll either encounter people in their lives or they'll see things online on their phones, and doesn't it make much more sense to me that they learn about the real world around them from their parents and from their teachers, and that's why it's important to have an inclusive curriculum.
Absolutely, as you said, I mean, it's again the whole Wild West nature of the online world. Isn't it better that it's done through kind of a safe and kind of informed kind of approach? What I referred to there, your comments earlier this year were kind of a statement that was put out by, I think it was a Catholic management association, and I think, again, while everyone is entitled to have their input, I think what kind of upset and offended people in that instance was some of the language that was used around contagion. Now that was particularly to do with the transgender, but I think a lot of people were very hurt to think that kind of school managers that kind of language would be employed, and I know you and the Tánaiste, and in fact the INTO came back very strongly about that.
Yeah, I have to say I was taken aback by it at the time, as much as the language as the content, and there are a lot of really good schools all over the country, including my own constituency, that have religious patronage, and that's the way the majority of the parents want it to be. Often when you try and change it, you get a very clear response that they don't want that to change. But they're Catholic schools in the universal sense, and I think they do their best to be inclusive of all sorts of backgrounds. And that was actually that statement was really inconsistent with what I see and experience on the ground when I go into schools, and these would be schools under the patronage of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, and of course they're kind of two separate strands, aren't they? The whole kind of divestment of patronage, but then the inclusive curriculum in our state-funded schools, because of course LGBT young people exist in every school classroom in the country, and aren't they and their families entitled to that kind of visibility and that support as much as any other kind of family arrangement? And I think you only have to look at the Belong To, the youth organisation who do such excellent work. It was very apt for you to talk about 2015, and certainly that was a momentous occasion, but we knew even then that the work still was not fully completed. But I think it'll maybe put things into perspective. The Schools Climate Belong To survey in 2022, 76% of young LGBT plus people still feel unsafe at school. I think that's quite sobering in many respects.
It's more than sobering. It's very sad that's the case as well. And I think one thing that's very positive now in schools compared to when we were in school is that so many young people have come out as being lesbian or gay or bisexual or trans, which was almost unthinkable not that long ago. And then increasingly don't feel that they have to do that at all. It's not some sort of public declaration that you ever have to make. So that's the positive, but the fact that still so many feel that it puts them at risk, it makes them less safe. That's really concerning.
And of course, you saw the very disturbing incident in Navan, actually, and that was referenced yesterday in the debate because, of course, your colleague, it's her constituency, and that was extremely upsetting, obviously, and traumatising for the victim in the first instance.
Yeah.
But more broadly, I think for the community, it was.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak with him and his mother. So, and obviously, the school is taking action and the guards too. But something particularly nasty about not just doing that to somebody, but also the added humiliation of then posting the video online. And I think that's something that we all need to bear in mind as well. A huge number of people, probably in good faith, reposted the video out of solidarity with the young man, but that's actually not the right way to go about things at all. And even mainstream media, kind of almost signposting to it, meant that way more people would have seen it than did. And that's something I think we need to get better at it.
And of course there was issues as well with it not being taken down as quickly, and that kind of harks back to, I suppose, the era of self-regulation for the online platforms. There needs to be now a more kind of robust and kind of rigorous kind of regulation.
Yeah, and what also was very evident to me, and I meet these companies, I work with these companies, they employ a lot of people and pay a lot of tax revenues that we're investing in healthcare and housing and education and everything else. Different platforms behave differently, and some were very quick to take action, and some not at all. So I don't buy the argument that somehow it's too difficult to do this if one platform can have it gone within minutes or hours, and the other one still has it available days later. That shows a particular attitude and a real issue, I think, with certain platforms over others.